Hello everyone and welcome to today's live lesson with me, Anna English, here on English Like a Native. Today we are tackling one of the hardest tenses in the English language, and that is the present perfect tense. Now, grammar makes me shudder. Oh, because grammar rules, they're confusing, and it's not something that us natives consciously try to learn. We learn grammar rules subconsciously. So I'm going to try my best today to make this as simple for you as possible, especially with this particular tense that everyone finds so tricky and confusing. Now, this is the third live lesson that I've done today, and I think I'm going to do this more often. Do 3 live lessons in a day. The reason being is that it means that I can go live at a time that hopefully will be good for everybody. So I did a live lesson on Facebook this morning. I did a live lesson on Instagram in the middle of the day, and now we're coming into the early evening. I'm doing the final live lesson and rounding everything up in this one lesson on YouTube. So if you're not already following me on Instagram or Facebook and you're on those platforms, then come and find me. I have links to all of my social media platforms down below. So do join me in those other places. If you did join me on Facebook and Instagram, then it's fantastic to have you back. Please feel free to write a comment. Hello, lots of you writing now. Good evening, hello, lovely to have you all with us. I also have my Patron Skype room open, so if you're a patron or VIP, come to the Skype room and make sure you write your comments in there so I don't miss them. So let's get on with it. The present perfect tense. I've got my notes, I'm going to bring them up on the board for you. So, the present perfect tense is an important tense to master because it's one of the most commonly used tenses. However, it can be a tricky one to understand, and I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. So first, the form. We have subject, so I, you, he, she, plus have or has, depending on what the subject is, and then the past participle of the main verb. So here I've given some examples, imagining that the main verb is to try. If we're going to say in the positive, we'd say for a positive sentence, I have tried. I have tried ice cream today. Or you have tried my homemade cooking recently. Or he has tried carrots, but he doesn't like it. And then in the negative, it's very easy. We add not just after have or has, and we usually contract it. That's very important. If you want to sound like a native, you want to sound natural, then contractions are a must. So if you're saying I have tried, we'd usually say I've tried. If we're saying he has not done it, we might say he's instead of he has. He has not would be hasn't, so we'd contract has and not. He hasn't done it. He hasn't done his homework. Let me bring this back up for you. So yes, we contract them. And then if you're going to use the present perfect in a question, you simply switch around the subject with have or has. Have or has. So you put the subject second. So have I tried? No, I haven't. Have you tried bungee jumping? Has he tried carrot before? Okay, so it's very simple. Let me bring my face back up. Hello. So let's carry on. So the present perfect tense is used when discussing past events. So it's happened in the past. It has a strong connection to the present, and that's the difference between present perfect and past simple. So if it's something in the past, ended in the past, and it has no effect on the present right now, then we use past tense. But if it still has an effect, for example, if I have drunk a glass of champagne, So I've been drinking champagne, and because of drinking champagne, I feel drunk. That is having an effect on me, even though I did the drinking before. It was a past event. When I drank the champagne, it was a past event. It's having an effect on me now. I feel drunk now. So that has a strong connection to now. So someone might say, why are you wobbling when you walk? And I might say, I have drunk 4 glasses of champagne. To be fair, I'd be wobbling if I drunk 1 glass of champagne. But there, that has a strong connection to now. So how you're feeling, what you're doing. If it's been affected by a past event, then you're probably going to use the present perfect tense. So perhaps it's also something that's just happened. So something that happened a moment ago, or that happened today, or within this week. Or maybe it's something that's happened this year that's still having an effect. If something has recently happened, then we could use the present perfect for that as well. So let's have a look at some examples. I'm going to bring them up for you now. I have walked 2 miles. I have walked 2 miles. Now, perhaps I should add a little more to this, a bit more context. I've walked 2 miles today. So have here is the present tense, and walked is the past participle. Okay, so I have walked 2 miles today. Whew, and now I feel quite tired. Here are some other examples, and I'd like you to write an example for me as well. I'm going to read these out for you, but while I'm doing this, I want you to write some examples of the present perfect tense in the comments down below. So, I have cooked enough for everyone. So you've all come for dinner and you've brought a few extra guests, some unexpected partners or family members, and I go, oh, okay, sit down, don't worry, I have cooked enough for everyone. So the cooking happened in the past, but right now it means there is enough food cooked and ready for you to eat. Or, she has danced with him all night. I want to dance with that man, but my friend has danced with him all night, therefore I'm upset about it. We're still in the same period of time. It's still the night that the dance is happening. She has danced with him all night and I can't get a look in. Or you might say, I have called my boyfriend 3 times this evening. I've called my boyfriend 3 times this evening and he still isn't answering the phone, or he still hasn't phoned me back. How rude. Or you might say, the children have been very good. The children have been very good, or the children have behaved themselves, if the children have been on their best behaviour recently. If yesterday they were very good, then you'd say yesterday they behaved themselves. So that's past. But if you want to talk about their behaviour in general, recently being very good, then you can use the word recently and say recently they have behaved themselves. Okay? So if you feel that whatever you're talking about has a strong connection to the present, even though the event happened in the past, then we're going to use present perfect. So let me have a look at some of your examples. Okay? So let me bring this up here. All right, Laura. Hi, Laura. Welcome. You said, hey guys, I have studied all day. Fantastic, perfect sentence, and really great. You studied all day. Well done. I've got, oh, Prabhu has said, I have watched your IG live. I have just watched your Instagram live. Thank you very much. And that's a great sentence. Well done. Mohammed, you said, I just arrived. Can you repeat from the beginning? I just arrived. You've missed out an important part, which is have. I have just arrived. Now, when you listen to a native speaker, sometimes it might sound like they've missed out that part of the sentence. And it might sound like, I just arrived. And in fact, some native speakers may be naughty and miss the word out. But what we're doing is contracting And we're saying I've, and that is important. So be grammatically correct. We have to have the word have, even if it's in its contracted form. I've just arrived. And if you have just arrived, you can scroll back and watch the rest of the lesson later, or scroll back now and just watch it through. Lobsang says, I have just eat, but it should be I have just eaten. I have of the verb to eat, I eat, but in the past I ate, and in past participle is eaten, so I have eaten, I have eaten. All right, I'm going to do one more. Let me just pick, there's lots of comments here. I'm sorry if I don't read your comment out. It's just because there's so many of them here. Okay, there's lots of you using present perfect continue. I get confused. There's lots of you using the continuous version of the present perfect. I'm going to come on to that a little later on. So lots of you using I have watched, which is great. Okay, here's a question. Have you tried? Oh no, you're saying have you tried listening? Have you? That's using continuous and, oh gosh, that's a confusing sentence to explain. Okay, let me try and find a simple one just for what we're covering at the moment. I have been informed that he has already eaten my cake. Osama, fantastic, well done. I'm sorry about your cake. I have watched football. I have watched, I'd say the football, because that makes it sound like it was an actual event, a specific match. I've watched the football. I have watched the football. When you say I have watched football, it feels very general. You've watched your son play football, you've watched a professional team play football, you've watched a specific event. It just feels too loose. So we'd say the football, hoping that whoever you're talking to understands the context of which particular match was being played. All right, let's move on. So I'm going to bring up the notes again here, and I've got a few patrons saying hello now in the patron room. Hello, welcome. So here was a few that I'd read out earlier. She has danced with him all night. He has sent 3 emails to the council. They have been very good. You have done your best. Now, here's one. I have prepared for the language challenge. Have you? I have prepared for the language challenge. Have you? And this is the point where I mention, what's the word? A fantastic opportunity for you to get involved in if you're the kind of student that is regularly studying, or if you really want to make a concerted effort to improve your language over the next few months. And this opportunity, it's free to sign up. It's with italki, who are the sponsors of today's video. So italki are doing what's called a language challenge in October, for the month of October. And basically they reward you for taking lessons. So if you normally take 10 lessons in a month and you decide, actually this month I want to take 15 lessons and really push forwards with my language learning, really master my tenses, or I want to learn my business English vocabulary or prepare for that test, then you take your lessons during the language challenge, and italki will then give you rewards. They allow you to track your progress and they reward you for achieving your goals. So it's fantastic, an extra little incentive to help you on your way. Now, if you're not familiar with italki, they are a language learning provider. They offer one-to-one tailored lessons. They have thousands of teachers on their database. So the beauty of them is you can choose who you want to learn with. And they also offer over 130 languages, so you don't just have to learn English with them, you can learn all sorts of languages with them. You can learn whenever you want to, it's convenient, any time of the day, any time of the week. It's all online, so you choose your teacher, your lessons, when and where you do it. They also have an app, which I recently talked about, that offers other free resources and an opportunity for you to find a language learning partner to help you as well, which I highly recommend. Always take advantage of anything that's going. that helps you along with your language learning, because it can be hard. It can be very easy to lose motivation. So anything out there that helps to motivate you, I thoroughly recommend taking advantage of. So the what's the word? The doors are open now. The gates are open. You can sign up now for this language challenge. It starts in October, but you can sign up now by clicking on the link down in the description box below. If you're new to italki and you take the link and you sign up for your first class, then you'll get $10 in credit towards your lessons, which is fantastic. Yes, and so you sign up, you schedule your lessons, you take the challenge in October, you set your goals, track your progress, and you get rewards, things like coupons or merchandise. You can also get lucky draw tickets to win $500 towards a trip of your choice. Whew, I need a holiday actually. Anyway, so if you're interested, then please do click on the link below and check that out. An extra little incentive for all of you out there learning. Okay, so let's get back to this lesson. I'm going to bring it up for you here now. Right, so remember the tense is used when the past event has a strong connection to the present. So I've said that again, it has a strong connection. That is the difference with this tense. It has to have a strong connection to the present. So here are two examples of the same sentence. David has waited for hours. This is different to David waited for hours. Obviously, this one is the present perfect, whereas this one is simple past, past simple. What's the difference? Well, they both tell us that David has waited for hours, but the present perfect version tells us that he's waited, that what happened tells us that the waiting has happened recently. So I know he's recently waited because you use the present perfect tense. David has waited for hours. Maybe I'm the doctor that you've been waiting to see. And David comes in with his wife and his wife says, David has waited for hours for this appointment. Very rude. Very rude. So she's using the present perfect because it's just happened. Whereas if we're going to use the past tense, David waited for hours, this could be applied to any point in the past. Yesterday, David waited for hours to see the doctor. It was terrible. Last week, David waited for hours to see the doctor. It was awful. Last year, David waited for hours to see the doctor, but yesterday he only had to wait for 10 minutes. A big improvement. So you see, it gives us a little bit of information about when the event took place and how it's affecting you now. Obviously, if I say David has waited for hours, I'm probably annoyed on David's behalf. David has waited for hours. Oh, maybe I'm the receptionist telling the doctor, Doctor, can you see David? He's waited for hours. Oh. Okay, so I hope that helps to explain the difference. But I'm going to give you a bit more here now to help you. Okay, we've got some disgraceful messages coming through here, so I'm going to just hide. I do apologise for any of you who have seen some awful messages in the comments. I'm just removing them now. Okay, so I am going to flick back to these comments here. Okay, so we can use the present perfect tense when discussing the experience you have in life up to now. So this is how I try to remember it. What experience have you got now? It's still going to continue and it's going to develop, but what experience do you have now? So up to now, I have been to, so tell me where have you been? I have been to Paris. I have been to Scotland, I've been to India, I've been to America, I've been to Japan. I have not been to Australia. Okay, so up to now. That's why it still has an effect on the present, even though these events happened many years ago. It still has an effect on the present because I'm talking about the experience that I currently have. I have been to. If I was talking about a specific trip, then I'd say, I went to Paris many years ago. I went to Poland in 2011. But because I'm talking about my general experience up to now, I use the present perfect. I have been to. And up to now, I have seen the movie Star Wars 100 times. I have seen the movie 100 times. You might say, I have heard this song infinite amount of times. I have heard this song so many times. Maybe you're annoyed and you don't want to hear it again. I've heard this song so many times. Please turn it off. You can say, I have eaten. Maybe it's that you've eaten and you're full, like I suggested in a previous lesson. I have eaten breakfast, therefore I don't need to eat anything else right now. Or you could say, I have eaten meat. I'm a vegetarian, but I have eaten meat once in my life. I have danced. I have danced in the Royal Albert Hall. That's my experience up to now. If I'm going to talk about that event, then I'd say I danced at the Royal Albert Hall last week for the Queen, maybe. Oh, how exciting. You could say, I have enjoyed your company. Up to now, I've enjoyed your company. It's been very nice. But if you don't go home soon, I might not enjoy it any longer. Okay, so let me bring these back up for you. So I have been to, I have seen, I have heard, I have eaten, I have danced, I have enjoyed. Here you are telling us what experience you currently have, and this is different to describing a past event. So you might say, instead of I have been to, you'd say I went to, if you're talking about past event. I have seen many things, but specifically I saw the pyramids in Cairo. I have heard this song many times, but yesterday I heard a beautiful song in a different key to what I normally hear it in. Okay, normally you'd say, I have eaten meat once. Last week I ate a chicken sandwich. So do you see what I'm doing here? You might say, in general, I have danced on many stages, but last week I danced on the biggest stage of my life. I have enjoyed your company up to now, and last year I really enjoyed your visit as well. You see? Okay, let me see what kind of comments are coming through at the moment. Okay, I've got one here in my Patron room, and that's from Alexander. Hi, Alexander. I have already seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but my friend Yulia hasn't seen it yet. Have you? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, is that the new one? And that's a perfect sentence. Thank you so much. Well done. If it's the new one with Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and lots of other big stars, I think it's a Tarantino film. Is that right? Maybe not. But yeah, it looks amazing. And no, I haven't seen it. Okay, what have we got here? Hi Anna, this is the first time for me to be online here. Hello, welcome, thank you. If you are new here, then please do hit that subscribe button and the bell notification button. Turn on your notifications so that you know when I'm going live and when I upload new lessons. But thanks for joining me. And guys, if you're finding this helpful, you know I hate teaching grammar, but if you find this helpful, then please do give it a thumb up. That would be wonderful, thank you. So Osama says, have they ever reached the moon? Have they ever reached the moon? Yes, good. Okay, all you have to do is put a capital letter at the beginning. Have they ever reached? Did they ever reach? Have they ever reached? It feels a little bit odd actually. Have they ever reached? Have they ever reached the moon? No, it's right. It's right. It's right. Ray, hi, thank you. I think you're helping other students in there and as always giving lots of advice. That's fantastic. Thank you for being here. Just trying to find some examples here. Okay, so Falco has moved to Istanbul to join I'm not sure what that word is, I'm sorry. But he has moved. He has moved. That's correct. Well done. What's the difference between did you eat and have you eaten? So did you eat is in the past. Yes, I ate. Yesterday, did you eat? Did you eat the pork yesterday? Have you eaten? I have eaten suggests that it's connected to now. So it might be, have you eaten all your dinner? Because you're not getting dessert if you haven't. So it's probably more recent, or it's connected to now. So you're saying, have you eaten shark before? And the answer might be, no, I haven't. Why? Well, I was going to see if you wanted to try some. No, how awful. I don't want to eat shark. Okay, so one is in past and one is in present perfect. I have been really loved your way to teach, says John. Okay, so this sentence isn't quite right, I'm afraid. What you're trying to say is, I really love the way you teach. I really love the way you teach. So it's very difficult to put this into present perfect. You could say, I have enjoyed your way of teaching. I have enjoyed your way of teaching. That would work. I have loved. I think if you say, I have loved your way of teaching, it feels, as a native, it feels like it's finished. It's over. I don't love it anymore. I did. I have loved in the past, but not now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Any more? Lots of you joining me here for the first time on the live stream. Fantastic. Sorry, it's a bit chaotic running a live stream, but I hope you're finding it helpful. Okay, so again, asking, I saw her recently versus I have seen her recently. Obviously, they both say the same thing, that you recently laid eyes on a person. You saw her. One of them suggests that you saw her and it's not connected to now. Yeah, my mum, I saw her recently. At some point in the past, I saw her recently. I know it's very similar. It's hard to feel the difference, but the difference to I have seen her recently suggests that there's more connection to now. So if someone says, have you seen your mum recently? I need to speak to her. Or she's had a haircut. Have you seen her recently? She's had a haircut. You say, yes, I have seen her recently. I love her new hair. It's very difficult. I can understand why non-natives struggle with the difference between past simple and present perfect. They can cross over. So this particular example is a bit of a crossover. I saw my mum recently. She looks fantastic with her new haircut. Or I have seen my mum. I've seen my mum and she looks fantastic with her new haircut. It's very tough. Sometimes it doesn't matter which tense you use, but if it has a very strong connection to the present, then you should be using present perfect. And if it's definitely an event that's finished in the past and has no bearing on the present, then you use past simple. Okay? Hope that helps. Oh wow, one of you has dropped a super chat. That's very kind, very unexpected. I don't get these very often. Steve from California, hello. Thank you so much for your very kind donation. Already an English speaker, but I love your videos on British accents. Best of luck with this channel though. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. And thank you for joining me from California. I do have many other accent videos in the pipeline. It's just difficult finding the time at the moment to continue with the edits, but I will be releasing more accent videos before Christmas, so thank you for your donation. Okay, let me jump back into the notes and let's see what else we've got to look at. So, the present perfect simple tense and time. So this can help you. For events that have happened moments ago, we can use the word just, and we often do use the word just. So if it very recently happened, you could say, I have just arrived. I have just arrived. I'm still taking off my coat. I've just arrived. What's happening? Okay. If we're telling a story about what happened yesterday, you might say, yesterday I arrived on time and the lesson had started. Yesterday I arrived on time, but the lesson had started without me. What's all that about? I arrived yesterday. But right now, just a moment ago, I have just arrived. I've just arrived. If you're on the phone to a friend and they're saying, aren't you at work today? You say, yes, I've just arrived. So I need to go. Okay, another example might be, he has just put the kettle on. Fantastic. I might offer you a cup of tea. Would you like a cup of tea? My husband has just put the kettle on. He has just put the kettle on a moment ago. It will boil in approximately 30 seconds. Or you might receive a phone call while you're sitting down for a meal and it's your mother. You can't ignore your mother. And you say to her, I'm sorry, Mum, we have just sat down for dinner. We have just sat down for dinner, and she'll know that your food is piping hot and needs to be eaten and that she ought to get off the phone. Okay, hopefully. Some mothers don't. They continue talking because they just want to talk to you. But hopefully she will take the hint and get off the phone because you've just sat down for dinner. Okay, Sergio says, I've just awaken. Now you'd say, I've just awoken. Actually, we'd probably just say woken up. I've just woken up is more natural for a native. I've just woken up. Jalene says, I'd love a cuppa. Okay, I'll make sure that kettle is piping hot for you so you can have a cuppa. Lolly says, I've just set the table for dinner. Fantastic. I've just learned chapter 1 of biology, says Subham. Good, fantastic. Make sure when you write I, the pronoun I, that you write it with a capital letter. Okay, Olya says, I've just cutted my finger with the knife. Now, the past participle is cut. We don't, cutted isn't a word. Cut. So I've just cut my finger with a knife. Okay? Just cut my finger with a knife. Okay, so so many here. Okay. I've just finished the assignment for tomorrow, says Rashad. I've just finished the assignment for tomorrow. Well done. And great sentence. Thank you very much. Oh, bless. Valentin, thank you very much for another super chat donation. That's very kind of you. Guys, you guys are so sweet. And you said, I just love your way of being. Wow. Wow, what a compliment. Thank you so much. And thank you. All contributions do go towards the same for any patron contributions or VIP contributions. They all go towards maintaining this channel, making sure that I can cover childcare to do things like this, making sure I've got equipment when equipment breaks, and keeping up my software payments and things like that. So your contributions are really helping the community. So thank you so much. Much appreciated. Okay, so let's carry on. I do have a little message here from my patron Nitin. Hi, you said, I have learnt lots of things about English language from Anna in recent time. Lovely. Very nice. I have learnt. Well done. All right, so let's jump back to those notes. Okay, so talking about present perfect tense with time, we don't use words of finished time. So words of finished times are things like exact dates, yesterday, last week, last month, last year, ago, before, until. So for example, I can't say, I have been reading yesterday. Oh, sorry, that's continuous. I have read many books yesterday. I have read many books is in the present perfect tense. If I add the word yesterday, that's finished time. So that's saying that event is finished. It's no longer connected to today. So yesterday I did this. Therefore, if I'm talking about an event happening and I use the word yesterday, I have to use the past tense. I read many books yesterday. So not I have read. I have read connects it to today. So you can say, I read many books yesterday and I have read many more books today. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I read many books yesterday and I've read many more today. Because today isn't over. So that's why we're using present perfect. If I say something I did last week or last month or last year, again, I have to use the past tense. An exact date. In 1999, I ate lots of food. You can't say I have eaten lots of food in 1999, therefore I was quite large. That wouldn't work. I ate lots of food in 1999, therefore I was quite large. Oh, ping, ping. Lots of messages here. I've just put it on silent, so sorry about that. Okay, however, you can use words of unfinished time with the present perfect tense. So you can use words of unfinished time. So we can use words like lately or recently. We can say this month, this week, this year. We can say something already, yet, since, or for. Now, I did cover this on my Instagram page. I covered these particular words in more detail. So if you want to learn more about using unfinished time or words of unfinished time, words of finished time with this tense, then do go over to Instagram quickly, because the lesson will only last for another 20 hours and then it'll disappear. But yes, if it's unfinished time, then you can use it in the present perfect tense. If it's finished time, you can't. So you might say, this week I have taken my medicine. I've taken my tablets. This month I have walked 1,000 steps. That's not many, is it? This month I have walked 1,000 steps. I should walk more. Today I've walked 1,000 steps. All of these mentions of time, they're unfinished. They're still going on. And so you could say, often people say, I have studied English since 2002. It's still ongoing. I've studied since that point up to now. Or you could say, I've studied English for 17 years. I've studied English for 17 years and I'm still not an expert. Okay? So all of these words, I'm just going to show you one more time, you can use with the present perfect tense. Lately, recently, this week, this month, this year, already, yet. Have you eaten your breakfast yet? You might say as a question. Since and a set time, or for a time length. So since yesterday, for 24 hours. Okay, so here are some examples written out for you. I've been learning English since 2015. She's been very tired lately. Or she's very tired lately will probably make it easier for you. She's very tired lately. No, yes, she's very tired. No, what am I doing? Anna has had, I've had a very long day. Yeah. She has been. So some of you may not be aware, but there is something called baby brain. It's where your brain turns to mush once you have a baby. I have lots of attacks of baby brain, so do apologise. Bear with me. Okay, he has seen his mother twice this week. Notice I'm using these words here. I have seen that film twice already. The milkman hasn't delivered the milk yet. Naughty milkman. Okay, so moving on. Creating negative sentences using the past perfect tense can be done by inserting not or never in between has, have and has and the past participle of the verb. For example, I have never heard anything like it, or she has not had time to write a letter. Now, obviously, this is highly likely to be contracted because natives love to contract. So if there's a contraction that can be had, then we will make the contraction. So she hasn't had time to write a letter. She hasn't had time to write a letter. I'd like you to write a present perfect sentence in the negative now if you would like to. I'd very much appreciate it. I'll have a quick look at what you're writing down now. Jolene has said baby brain is a real thing. I'm guessing from that you know, yes, baby brain is very real. And I suffer with it a lot, especially later in the day, because baby gets me up all through the night and very early in the morning. Yes. Right. Let me see. Okay, I haven't. Here we go. Laura, thank you. I haven't done my workout yet. Perfect. But do your workout. Make sure you do. It's important to exercise as well. It has just rained versus it has just been raining. Okay, so we're going to come to that. That's the difference between present perfect simple and present perfect continuous. We're going to come to that. Bear with. My brother has graduated from university this summer. Good. But let's have a look at some negatives. Give me some negatives, guys. I haven't seen anything like this picture before. Fantastic. I have not seen anything like this picture before. Well done, thank you. I haven't had tea yet, although I'm very hungry. Perfect. And yes, make sure you have a nutritious dinner. The baby, so Ray says, the baby hasn't been out for 3 days, so we are taking him out in his pram. Lovely. And you've given the context of how it's affecting your now as well. He hasn't been out for 3 days, and therefore you're going to take him out now. Brilliant. Okay, so Sarah's asking, what's the difference between I haven't seen this movie, I have not seen this movie, and I didn't see this movie? So one is present perfect and one is past. So I haven't seen this movie suggests that up to now this has not happened, but it might do. I haven't seen this movie and I want to. I didn't see the movie suggests that the option is gone. So I haven't seen, let's say there's a new film called Ace that's on in the cinema. And I'd say to you, I haven't seen Ace in the cinema yet. I'm going to see it. I haven't seen this movie yet. I keep saying yet, but I haven't seen this movie, meaning there's still time. I could. If I say I didn't see Ace, the context is probably I didn't see Ace while it was at the cinema, and now it's no longer at the DVD. Do people still buy DVDs? But it suggests that it's completely in the past and not connected to the future anymore. No, I didn't see it. Or I haven't seen it, it's connected to now. It still has relevance in the present. I hope I'm explaining this well. It's so hard. I do really feel for non-natives on this topic. Okay, learnt versus learned. Who was that? Was that you, Andre? Okay, so learnt versus learned with a T ending or an ED ending. This gets me as well. I'm not sure why there's a difference. Maybe it's an American British thing. You can choose either or. I know we Brits use either or. If strong with, I'm not sure I can give you a definite answer to that. Yeah, so learn. Okay, learnt seems to be more American. No, it's more common in Britain. I don't know. It's a country thing. But here we use so many different influences. So I've seen learnt and learned written in British text, emails, newspapers, Maybe Ray, you could give us some more insight on that one. But as a native, I don't think it matters which one you use right now in this day and age. But Ray, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that one. Learnt with a T or learned with an ED. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, the word ever. Ever. So, we'll also hear, oh, I've misspelled a word there. We'll also hear the word ever being used in the present perfect tense. So there's 3 ways that I can think of that you would use it. The first is in questions. And it means, in questions, it means at any time. So I might ask you, have you ever eaten chocolate? And what I mean by that is, have you at any time in your life eaten chocolate? Okay, so have you ever eaten chocolate? What other questions could you ask with ever? Have you ever taken a bath with a frog? Have you ever, what a question, have you ever ridden a bike? Have you ever tasted a rich tea biscuit? Okay, so I'd like you to ask a question, have you ever? Have you ever? And this is something I know that a lot of children, I'm sure there's actually a children's game, have you ever? Or maybe it's a drinking game, but it's a common question, have you ever? So Laura says, have you ever been to Rome? Yes, many times, love it. Any more coming through? Have you ever been to Egypt? Yes. 3 times I've been to Egypt. Loved it. Have you ever eaten Mexican food? Yes. Yes. Like chilies and enchiladas. Enchiladas Mexican? Yes, it's like one of my favourite foods. And fajitas? Are fajitas Mexican? Love fajitas. Absolutely love fajitas. Vegetarian fajitas, but love fajitas. Have you ever seen a Spanish movie? I'm not sure, but good question. Have you ever did skydiving, says Daniel. No, so have you ever done, you would use there, have you ever done skydiving? Or been, you might say, have you ever been skydiving? Because it's something that you go to, you go and skydive. Have you ever been skydiving? Feels more natural. Have you ever been skydiving? Game Over just quickly asks, oh no, you're just telling us which one is American and which one's British. Yes, okay, sorry, distracted. Have you ever been in love? Oh, what a question. Have you ever been in love? Fantastic. Yes, I have. I'm in love right now. I'm in love with my child. Oh, I love him so much. My heart feels like it's going to burst sometimes. Oh, Ray, you're amazing. You are such a fountain of knowledge. So Ray has now just written in the comments the difference between learnt, learned. Okay, so he said learnt with a T is past tense. Learned, ed, is past participle. So we use learnt in the simple past. We learnt that ages ago. And with past perfect, we'd say, I have learned a lot this month. Oh, you are amazing. Thank you so much for that information. You see, all of us are still learning. All of us never stop learning. Have you ever met the Queen? Yes, I have met the Queen. Great question. And I actually have met the Queen. Have you ever visited Mexico? No, I haven't, unfortunately. One day. Have you ever cooked Italian? Yes, I have. Okay, so you guys are really getting the hang of this. Fantastic. I'm just going to switch over quickly to Nitin. Nitin, you've said, Anna, you have been very lively for today's live lesson, whether it's on Facebook or on YouTube. Thank you very much. I have been, haven't I? I don't know where my energy is coming from. I'm running on empty. Okay, so have you ever is one way we can use ever with the present perfect tense. Another way is we could use ever when coupled with the word nobody or nothing for things that have not happened before. So for example, nothing bad has ever happened to me. Nothing bad has ever happened to me. So here we've got has and then the past participle. And we're saying nothing bad has, and then we're using ever happened to me. Or no one has ever spoken. No one has ever spoken to me in that way. No one has ever spoken to me in that way. You've been very rude. Okay, so the third way you might use ever in the present perfect is used for the first time or most extreme experiences, so best or worst. So you might say, it is the best thing I have ever done. It is the worst cake I have ever eaten. It's the first time I have ever swam with sharks. Okay, so most extreme experiences. The first, the last, the best, the worst, the scariest, the most magical. So you can use it ever with extremes. Okay? All right, so I hope that gives you a lot to go on when it comes to using present perfect. Notice I have to stall every time I say present perfect because it confuses me. These terms confuse me so much. I'm confused. So hopefully there's a lot for you to go on there. I have covered these in more detail on Facebook. That lesson will remain there. And on Instagram, that lesson will only remain for about 20 hours. So do check those out if you want more practice. But now I'm going to tackle the present perfect continuous. And then I'll look at how these are different. So the present perfect continuous, guys. The present perfect continuous. This tense shows that something started in the past and is continuing now. So the present perfect continuous is formed by using the construction have or has plus been and then the present participle in the ing form. So I have been teaching this lesson. It started about an hour ago and is still continuing. So I have been teaching this lesson. What have you been doing? What have you been doing? I have been learning about present perfect tense. Yay! Hopefully. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, so we can choose whether or not to state when in the past this event has happened, or sorry, when it began. So we would normally use a starting time. So you'd say, I have been, or some sort of time with the sentence. So you might say, I've been working all day, or my partner has been seeing a specialist about his back pain since last year. So we often use a time, but you don't have to. So my partner has been seeing a specialist about his back pain would work with time or without a specific time. You might say, here's one, Jacob has been learning to walk. That sentence works on its own. Jacob has been learning to walk. But I could also say Jacob has been learning to walk since the end of June. So that's when it began, and it's still continuing now. And we know that because we're using the present perfect continuous. It's still happening now. He's still learning. He can take a few steps, but he's very wobbly, so he's still learning to walk. I've been waiting for a bus for 15 minutes. Grrr, and I'm still waiting. They, my mum and dad, have been arguing a lot lately. So there, lately is my use of an unfinished time, lately, still going on. They have been arguing a lot lately. I hope they're going to survive. I don't want them to get a divorce. Okay, let me just show you these on screen. Oh, here's one. I have been waiting for an outcome to the Brexit saga. Yes, Brexit. Oh, what a nightmare. The word saga, by the way, if you're not familiar with the word saga, it means something that's been dragged out, that goes on for a long time. the saga, an event that keeps going on. So I've been waiting for an outcome to the Brexit saga. That's what I've been doing. Now, I've been working all day. My partner's been seeing a specialist about his back pain. Jacob has been learning to walk since the end of June. We have been waiting for a bus for 15 minutes, and they have been arguing a lot lately. Now, before we look at the negatives, let me just quickly come to your examples. I have been learning English for 2 years, says Lolly Lolly. Perfect. I've been falling in love with you, Anna. Oh, I'm blushing. Very good sentence, well done. I have been a being for several years. It's a very funny sentence, not a common sentence, but it works. I have been following you on Instagram for last few days. You need an article for the last few days, and that works. I have been preparing for the exams for a whole month. Perfect. Okay, you've got the hang of it. So let's have a quick look now at the use of this in the negative form. Now, generally, it's advised to use the present perfect simple for negative. I'm confusing myself. It's advised to use the present perfect simple instead of the continuous when we're talking in the negative. However, the continuous form can be used. Okay, so it's better to use the present perfect simple, but we can use the continuous form if we must. You may just need a little more context though to make it make sense. So, I think the dog is unwell. There's your context. She hasn't been eating much recently. She hasn't been eating much recently. So I think the dog is unwell. She hasn't been eating much recently. Or, I'm sorry, can you repeat what you just said? There's the context. I need the repetition. I haven't been paying attention. I haven't been paying attention. Okay? All right, I'm going to move on to questions in the present perfect continuous. So it's very simple. As before, you put the object second. So have or has, and then the object you, me, you, me, have me. That's not right. Have you, have I, have John, has John, sorry, has she, has he, have they. Have you been swimming lately? Has John been waiting for long? Now you need to be aware, this is very important, that if you're using the present perfect continuous as a question, then it can be insulting. Dun, dun, dun. So when you're asking a question in present perfect continuous, it implies that you're sensing now the event that happened in the past. So if someone runs to the office, they will be visibly sweaty and out of breath. If someone didn't sleep well one night, then the next day they will look tired. Okay, so the following question types can be offensive. Have you been sleeping much? That implies that you look tired. Have you been drinking? If I ask you, have you been drinking, it might imply that you smell like alcohol, or maybe that you are behaving irrationally. If I say, have you been smoking? That would imply that you stink of smoke. Okay, so you have to be careful when choosing to use this particular tense, this continuous tense, as a question, because it can make someone paranoid, especially us Brits. We're a little bit sensitive to these things. Okay, what's Nitin saying? Anna, have you ever visited India? Good, and yes, I have. I have never visited England. Very good, good sentence. I have been waiting for a movie to get downloaded since it would be for an hour. For an hour. So you'd say, I've been waiting for a movie to download. We don't need the word get. We don't get downloaded, we just download. So I've been waiting for a movie to download for an hour would be the correct sentence there, Nitin. Okay, let me bring you back to my lovely face. Hi. Okay, so let me wrap this up in a nutshell. In a nutshell means wrapped up in a small form, because a nut is small. So in a nutshell, the simple past. This is something that started and ended in the past and it doesn't affect me now. For example, I might say, I ate yesterday. I ate yesterday, doesn't affect me now because now I'm hungry. The present perfect simple is something that started in the past. It's probably finished, but it affects me now. So I have just eaten. I ate my breakfast and I finished my breakfast, but it still affects me now. I feel full. Okay, so that's the present perfect simple. It affects me now. The present perfect continuous is something that started in the past and is still happening now. I have been eating since 12:15 and hopefully I'll finish this meal before it goes cold. Okay, so it's still going on. It started before and it's still going on. I'm just going to show you this on the screen. The simple past, I ate yesterday. It doesn't affect me now. The present perfect simple, I have just eaten. Therefore, I feel full. It affects me now. The present perfect continuous, I've been eating since 12:15. Hopefully, I will finish this meal before it goes cold. Okay, so those are 3 tenses that are regularly confused. I've just thrown that one in. I know we didn't cover the past today, but I've thrown that in because people get confused between this one and this one. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies things for you a little bit more. Now remember, there are those other lessons on Facebook and Instagram. My links for those pages are down in the description box below. I highly encourage you, if you are someone who takes lessons regularly or you want to take lessons and practice your English, I encourage you to try that italki challenge for October. You may as well. If you're taking lessons anyway, then why not win rewards for achieving your goals? And you can find out more about the italki challenge by clicking on the link at the top of the description down below. If you're new here, then please do subscribe and click the notification bell. I'm going to be doing more of these triple live lessons in the future once Jacob starts his nursery. Ooh, can be in childcare full time, not completely full time, but quite a lot of the time, which will help me to do more for you. So do make sure your notifications are turned on. And if you did enjoy this, you found it helpful, please do give it a thumb and perhaps share with anyone else who struggles with these tenses. All right, let me know in the comments below what you'd like me to cover next. If I do another Triple Tuesday, let me know what you'd really need help with, and I'll try my best to help you with that. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. Thank you to my VIPs, my patrons, and to those people who dropped a super chat. You guys are awesome. VIPs and patrons, I will be sending the notes that I used today into the Skype room and into folders, which I'll share with you, so you have a copy of that. Thank you guys. Take care. Lots of love from London. Bye.